You think you can spot a lie just by looking at someone's eyes? Wrong, we're lied to 15 to 200 times a day, and most of the time we don't even realize it. We've spent thousands of years of history trying to detect deception, from medieval torture devices to modern lie detectors. Are you confident you can spot a lie just by looking at a person's eyes? Most of us think we can. But that's a dangerous illusion. The amazing secret is, all of those tools can be fooled. They are not reliable enough to be accepted in a court of law. But what if the problem isn't with the techniques, but with the very assumption that lying causes a physiological change? What if we took a more direct approach, using the science of communication to analyze the very nature of a lie? And trust me, the last thing is what will completely change the way you believe everything. So why is lying so hard? On one hand, we lie to paint a better picture of ourselves, to connect our imagination with the person we wish to be. But while the conscious part of the brain is busy creating these stories, it lets countless signals slip through. Here's what most people don't realize. Our conscious mind controls only about 6% of our cognitive functions, including communication, while the other 94% happens outside our awareness. And according to studies, stories based on imagined experiences are qualitatively different from stories based on real experiences. That means creating a false story about a personal topic requires a lot of brain power and produces a completely different language pattern. The question now is, do you see yourself in that? And this is where we find one of the first signs of deception. Liars often talk less about themselves. When trying to make the story sound convincing, they often separate themselves from the lie. They will use the third person or talk more about others to create an unconscious distance from what they are saying. For example, instead of saying, "I didn't host the party here," a liar would say, "Absolutely no party happened at this house. This is just the beginning. The next part is even crazier." Second, liars tend to be more negative. On a subconscious level, they feel guilty about their lie. This is expressed through their use of negative words like sorry, terrible, hate, useless. For example, a liar might say, "Sorry, my stupid phone battery died. I hate that thing. Did you guess this?" Third, liars often explain things more simply. Our brains have to work hard to construct a complex lie, so to reduce the cognitive burden, they will keep things to a minimum. This explains why a former US president once stated with astonishing simplicity, "I did not have sexual relations with that woman." And finally, although keeping descriptions simple, liars tend to use long and complex sentence structures, inserting unnecessary words to pad the lie. A former president who was facing a scandal once stated in a very long-winded way, "I can say without a doubt that this investigation shows that no one on the White House staff, no one in this administration currently working, has been involved in this very strange incident." It sounds illogical, but it's true. Wait for the next part. But the last thing that I believe will surprise you the most is, you know how most of the lies we tell every day aren't to deceive, but to protect someone's feelings? This is a controversial truth. Most everyday lies are not meant to deceive, but to protect love. Analyze the harmless lies that couples often use. "This food is delicious. I'm not mad." Or, "I wasn't looking at her." "I love you so much. You look so beautiful and charming," to avoid conflict. Women tend to lie to protect the other person's feelings, while men often lie to avoid trouble. The question now is, do you see yourself in that? Do you know that lying is a sign of intelligence? Studies show that children start to lie between the ages of 2 and 3. This ability requires a series of complex cognitive skills, such as reading other people's minds and understanding that you can manipulate them. Lying is an important step in cognitive development, showing that a child has learned to distinguish between fact and fiction. Anyone who thinks lies are easy to spot hasn't seen this. You think lying doesn't show up in sound? Completely wrong. Scientists have proven that when someone lies, their voice tends to get higher or they speak faster than normal. This is an unconscious physical reaction to stress. There's one more thing that most people overlook. We often believe in myths about body language, such as not looking someone in the eye. But professional liars often practice doing the opposite. They intentionally make too much eye contact so that you'll trust them. Let's apply linguistic analysis to a few famous examples. Take the 7-time Tour de France champion Lance Armstrong. When comparing his 2005 interview, when he denied using doping, with his 2013 interview, when he confessed, His use of personal pronouns increased by nearly 3/4. In his denial, Armstrong described a hypothetical situation, focusing on a different person, removing himself completely from the story. But in his confession, he used a lot of personal pronouns like I and delved into personal emotions. But using personal pronouns is just one of the signs. Look at another example from former Senator John Edwards. When faced with a scandal, he said, "I only know that the father has publicly stated that he is the father of the baby." Instead of saying directly, "The baby is not mine," he used a very long-winded and complex phrase. He also never called the people involved by their names, but only said that baby, that woman, and the supposed father. But when he later confessed, he said it simply and directly, "I am the father of Quinn. I will do everything in my power to give her the love and support she deserves." This is clear evidence that when the truth is told, the language becomes simple, direct, and personal. And here is a truth you may have never thought of. We often think that the goal of lying is to deceive others. But what we've discussed is only part of the story. The biggest lie is not the lie you tell others. It's the lie you tell yourself. So what's the biggest lesson here? In my opinion, the point of understanding the language of deception is not to become a detective or a judge. It's to realize how your brain works and to communicate more honestly. Every time you recognize a deceptive language pattern in someone else, you are also asking yourself if you are using them with yourself. Life is too short to live in lies. Being truthful with yourself and others is the real superpower. Do you agree that lying to yourself is the biggest lie? Comment below. And don't forget to like and subscribe, because the next video will have more interesting knowledge to increase your understanding every day.